Welcome back here to Mountain Connections. Our next guest is a two-time company founder, and now he works as a business leadership coach with the Sequoia Group. His name is Mr. Chris Cochella, and we are here today to talk about the anatomy of action. Chris, how are you doing today,
I'm
sir?
doing really well, Diego. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I could maybe use a little bit warmer weather, but
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. It's okay, no big deal. Let's talk about anatomy of action. What do you mean when you say anatomy of action?
Well, I mean that there's certain steps before we act. And setting up those steps lead to meaningful action and not just doing things to be busy.
Absolutely, and obviously the desired goal of any business is to be successful, but there are a myriad of different outcomes on how you can get to that point or that position. But the point is to be purposeful in your action in getting there.
Correct. So we always start with actions. We know what our measures of success are. And if we work backwards from those, what are the leading behaviors that we need to do as a team or as a leader that produce those outcomes?
So if you are a business owner and you know the general outcome that you would like, what is your next step? Where do you start from there?
Well, let's work backward from the outcomes.
Okay.
Outcomes come from actions. And we're all good at being busy. And there's that old saying of, don't just sit there, do something. But we really want to be doing something meaningful. So working back from the action, we have commitment. Then we have conversations. And from there, we have caring. So it's really about starting with caring. What does the business care about? And what do the people, the individuals in the business care about? And then working forward.
And when you say care, do you say care as a whole, the overall mission of the company, what they stand for? Or do you mean the individuals working on that specific project?
Well, it's really both.
Okay.
Employees are there for the business. The leadership is there for the business. So clearly, it needs to be what the business cares about. But it's those individuals that bring it about. They have lives, they have a purpose in the business, and when those two align, then we can have dialogue, the conversations that really motivate that commitment, that then brings about the action, and then the results fall out the end.
And the results fall out at the end. And I think something that has been a repetitive topic for us here is communication. And I know it sounds,
it is.
But I mean, in every aspect of leadership that you've come and brought to us, it all falls back to communication, and starting with that communicative point, and as you say, caring, but also being able to share a direct kind of goal set with your team or with the business as a whole.
Absolutely. Communicate. I mean, who are we if we aren't communicating as people? And businesses are very much a social enterprise. But it's about framing that communication event, building an environment of trust that allows the real conversations to come forward, that motivate people, that get you to step up and jump out of your seat when you show up for work, to bring about that 100% that we're all capable of doing.
Absolutely. And without that caring, do you think that outcome, that 100% is possible? It all starts with the caring.
Well, it's hard. I mean, you tell me, Diego, when did you ever set about a task, even the most menial task, didn't care and did 100% effort?
About never, I would say.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Even in the menial ones, when I care about the dishes or the kitchen, I do a great job. Likewise at work.
That's interesting that you say that. Even the small stuff, even the menial, what would we think is menial, and it's hard to even say menial, because even the small stuff at a business is so crucial to the operations of that business, is so crucial for it to go forward and for it to succeed. It's hard to even call that task menial, because without it, the business wouldn't operate, right? So
everything, customer service, the environment in which you're in, is it dirty, is it clean? All of those elements of a business help lift people,
Uplift
right?
the
Nothing
whole.
is really that small.
That's great. So as a business owner, as a business leader, whether you're the owner or if you're the leader of a specific team in that business, your goal from the outset should be to figure out how you can get your team to care, or ways to frame that caring, I guess, as you said earlier.
Yeah, or ask for it, discover it, observe those situations, and draw out who these people are. There's lots of books on it, of course. You can self-train.
That's great. What are some good resources that you know of?
Well, leadership books, particularly on generative leadership, and that's a kind of leadership style that is about conversation and draws out what people are thinking, what they might be saying in the background, brings it to the front so that we can all discuss that in a trusting way, get it out, and work toward the same goals.
And with going back to that trust, I think with that trust developed, it's a great thing as well, because you do have people that are maybe on the lower tiers. Again, it's hard to even say that, but that feel just as involved or invested in the company as those at the executive level. When you have that from the top, or from the bottom to the top, I guess you could say, it's going to be hard not to be successful when everyone cares about the vision, the drive, the product, whatever your service is. If they're feeling that all the way from the executive down to customer service, as you said, it'll be hard not to have a good customer experience with that.
You're absolutely right. I've seen many situations where everyone, top to bottom, can inform, a new direction, can inform something that you could do that is new, that helps improve what you deliver to your customers.
So going back to action, it seems that the best way to approach the situation, correct me if I'm wrong, is to almost approach it from a backwards perspective, figuring out where you want to go, but then working backwards from there about how you want to get there in terms of commitment and care and how you want to achieve those goals.
It is a great way to start, because if that's the measure of success, the business needs to do that. And then working backwards from that, what do the people need to bring about that level of commitment? And it needs to be conversation, and it needs to be a trusting environment to commit at that level, which then brings about the actions, which then gets you the success that everyone is looking to produce.
Everyone is looking to produce. And is this something, a formula that you can say that kind of works across the board for all businesses? Doesn't matter if you're delivering a product or a service.
Well, it's a great formula. It's not a one-size-fit-all in the sense that you can just go do this
Absolutely.
and walk down a list of things. We're people.
Absolutely.
We're nuanced. We have different goals and dreams in our lives and come to work in different ways, and businesses are different. So it really needs to be adapted to the environment and the situations happening with those people in the specific business.
I love it. And Chris, with the Sequoia Group, tell me a little bit more about some of the other leadership advice that you guys give through your leadership coaching.
Well, as you mentioned, it does focus a lot on communication and trust, and that can apply in a lot of different areas. It can apply toward a sales team. It could apply towards establishing culture and alignment on what we all are coming to do and why we're doing it together. So it kind of depends on what's happening in the business and what might be holding a business back. If there's a barrier, then that's a great place to focus.
Excellent. And where can people get a hold of you and the Sequoia Group?
Well, LinkedIn is great. I'm on LinkedIn, and then our website, sequoiagroup.co.
Excellent. Chris, always great advice. We
Yes.
really appreciate your expertise and leadership skills there.
Thank you.
Again, you can find out more about the Sequoia Group at sequoiagroup.co or check them out on LinkedIn. Some great tips today from Mr. Chris Cochella about the anatomy of action. We'll be right back with much more right after this short break.